so that way we could hopefully get more of these plays right. So here we go. This is Rule 2, 221.2 specifically, page 22, that defines umpire interference. And this is actually quoted for you, so I'm not going to turn there into my rule book just yet. It says, it is umpire interference when, and there's three ways. First, umpire inadvertently moves so as to hinder a catcher's attempt to throw. Two, or when a fair ball touches an umpire, as in 511F. We'll talk about that in a second. Or three, or a thrown ball, as in 511G. And this thrown ball is talking about it lodging into an umpire's uniform. So these are the only three scenarios for umpire interference as defined in Rule 2. And Rule 2 is the definitions for all of the terminology. And so if it's defined this way in Rule 2, that's what it is. There are only three ways that there can be umpire interference. So let's talk about the first one. It is umpire interference when the umpire inadvertently moves as to hinder a catcher's attempt to throw. The Rules Committee has already talked about next year. The phrase inadvertently moves is going to be changed because really as an umpire, you don't have to inadvertently move. You can simply be in your stance. And if the catcher in his attempt to throw to a base hits you, it's umpire's interference. You don't have to move. So I don't know what their wording is going to be just yet, but this phrase is going to change for next year's rule. So this scenario, as I think about this, you have a pitch coming in, you have a runner who's stealing a base, the catcher pops up to throw the runner out, and his hand, as he's backing up to prepare to throw, hits you in the mask. It's happened to you, and if it hasn't happened to you yet, it will happen to you maybe even this week. Now, so this is umpire interference. You get to say that's interference, and you get to point to yourself because, yes, you're the one that caused it. But this is not an immediate dead ball in this situation. So here's the penalty. If the initial throw, so if the actual throw from the catcher does not immediately retire the runner he's aiming to get, now the ball is dead and everybody goes back to where they were at the time of pitch. There's no such thing as a do-over, but this is pretty darn close to it. So again, if the catcher pops up and he hits you in the mask and the ball drops down, something like that, maybe he rears back and hits you, kind of in the side or in the chest. All of those things could qualify for this rule. And another thing too, if he pops up to you and your interference is so bad that he's not able to even make a throw, guess what? You get to call umpire interference as well. So if that throw does not immediately retire the runner, call time, put the runners back where they were at the time of pitch, and nothing else can happen. Okay, so that's scenario one for umpire interference. Scenario two for umpire interference is when a fair batted ball touches an umpire, as in 511F. So with your rule book, 511F is on page 41. And this is in a section that is titled dead ball. The ball becomes dead immediately when, and here it is, a fair batted ball touches an umpire before touching any fielder and before passing any fielder other than the pitcher. Okay, so let's say that you're in B position with a runner on base and you have a ground ball that goes up the middle and it passes the pitcher, but it's still headed towards the infield, toward like the second base, and it hits you in the leg or in the foot or whatever. This is umpire interference. You're going to call time, and then the batter runner gets awarded first base, and all other runners get awarded a base only if they're forced. So if there's R1 at the time and there's umpire interference in this scenario, then you're going to award R1 second, and you're going to put the batter runner at first. Okay. Now let's say that, the infield is playing in, okay, and you as a base umpire choose to be behind the infielders. All right. So everybody's in front of you, and we have that same hot shot right up the middle. It passes the pitcher, but it also passes the second baseman. And then it hits you as the umpire, then guess what? That is not umpire interference. You're simply just a part of the field. Let me give you one more scenario. This one, say you're in A position, right? And the ball is a screaming line drive down the baseline. It gets past the first baseman in fair territory and then hits you as an umpire. Guess what? That is not umpire interference. It's already past an infielder other than the pitcher. And so therefore, you're just simply a part of the field. That's how this one works. So there we go. And then here's the third scenario. It is umpire interference when a thrown ball, as in 511G, which is talking about a lodge ball. So this was also on page 41, which is just the next section down. And it talks about, obviously, when a thrown ball, a pitch or a thrown ball lodges in an umpire's uniform. So a pitch bounces in the dirt and gets caught in your ball bag. Okay, that's umpire interference, and that has happened to somebody before. A pitch or a hit that is thrown or grounded to the shortstop, and he throws across the diamond, and for some reason it happens to hit you, and it sticks, right in your armpit or something. It sticks inside you. That's umpire's interference. We have a thrown ball. So yeah, so this is what I'm just saying is a pitch or any other thrown ball in a lodge is lodged in an umpire's equipment or uniform. That scenario we're talking. So here we go. This is an immediate dead ball. If it is a pitch on ball 4, the batter gets first base. So if it's ball 4, if it's a pitch and that pitch becomes ball 4 and it gets lodged, the batter gets the first base. That's where they move up. If it is a batted or thrown ball, then you get 2 bases from the time of pitch. Okay. And where am I getting all of these? I'm getting these from the awards table that's on page 53. And if you have never looked at this awards table on page 53, you are missing out. 53 has all of the scenarios, all of the dead ball times, and it tells you when it is, when the ball is dead, and how many bases they get, and what is determined from the time from. So I know it's really hard to see in my wonderful autofocus camera, but this is the page that you're talking about on. And it's if it's a pitch that's ball 4, the batter gets first base. If it's a batted or thrown ball, then it's 2 bases from the time of pitch. Now, there is a scenario that is very, very, very likely that was explained in the email that was sent on 4/12. So if you have not read that email, I think there are 5 different scenarios on umpire interference. And if you haven't read them yet, you need to go read them. But I'm going to talk about one of them because this is very likely that this could happen. So here we go. Base is empty. We have a clean base hit to the outfield. The batter runner rounds first base. And runs into U1, so the base umpire, who's a little late making a pivot, okay? Runner then goes to the ground and is tripped up. So he's now laying on the ground. The ball is quickly thrown in. They catch, and he is tagged by the defense prior to getting back to the base. My question to you, is this umpire interference? The answer is no. This is not one of the 3 situations for umpire interference. In this scenario, the runner is out. This is not umpire interference because it is not one of the 3 situations. I said that already. Guys, you need to think of yourself as once you are past those 3 scenarios. So interfering with the catcher throws, getting hit with a batted ball before it passes the defense, or a ball getting lodged in your jersey. Once you get past those, you are a part of the field, for better or worse. We've all seen the football video clips where the umpire becomes, a 12th blocker for the offense, right? You just become a part of the field. In this scenario, that's exactly what you are. You are a part of the field, kind of like the Buffalo Wild Wings commercial that they used to have. That they would push the button and the sprinkler head pops up and trips them up. You are a part of the field, for better or for worse, in this scenario. So 2 takeaways from this. Number 1, if you find yourself in this play, realize that you're a part of the field and you're just going to have to learn to apologize and eat this one. Yeah, you're right. I'm so sorry. That's my fault, but it's my fault. And just really work on your communication skills. Or better yet, 2, let this be a reminder. Don't ever take a play off. Don't ever just assume that, hey, I know it's an easy base hit. I can kind of walk my way in. Nothing's going to happen. Be aggressive out there, hustle, and take care of business. So that is my first section on umpire interference. Let's see what we got next. I do have a couple things on the chat real quick. Carl says, we are dirt, just like coaches and fans think. That is a very true statement.